Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Techman Talks Dynamics. This time we're back on the CRM and Power Platform track again, and we're on to Wave 2 2025. The release notes came out around July, end of July time, and we're all kind of back to school, back at it. It's just rolled into September and it's time to dig into exactly what we're due to see roll out from Wave 2 release, turning from October. So today I've got Zach, John and Ellie with me, who are going to go through and shed some of their thoughts on some of the highlights that we've got coming our way. So, folks, where shall we start? Core CRM, sales, customer service, field service, customer insights, who wants to go first?
I'm happy to go first.
The floor is yours.
So this one sits under Dynamics 365 Sales, but I would say it's more generic and, also covered by customer service as well and marketing, etc. You've probably already seen some of it, but the Copilot grid search. So I think they sort of rolled this out in a phased approach to...
They put in previews, haven't they, in places across kind of if you put your deployed new system, then they kind of do turn it on. But in the older systems, or if you've had it for a couple of years or so, then they don't. It's not there at this moment in time, this feature.
Yeah, but in a nutshell, essentially, when you're inside a table in CRM, opportunities, for example, previously you would have had the quick find search to, find the records you're looking for based on keywords. Now this has been replaced with a Copilot search, which uses natural language. So a user enters in, a search query based on natural language, and then the Copilot will display a list of records. So they're obviously continuing to evolve this, and now there's also an option to visualize the data based on what the Copilot has returned, which means that you can essentially create charts on the fly.
And it is just a chart on the fly though, isn't it? Because it won't allow, to my knowledge, it doesn't allow you to save it yet in terms of on the fly, just save that chart in its own right on its own. But it, a bit like the Power BI visualise this view, it's kind of doing the same, but just using native dashboards, I think is what it does.
Yeah.
But also, my understanding of the smart grid is that you can type your natural language search in, but it will search the table that it's looking at and all the fields not there. Whereas historically, your quick view search, you had to decide what fields you were turning on for that view as such.
Yeah.
My understanding is it will search the table and give you a return for the table, even if the columns aren't in the specific view. That's my understanding. I've had a go with it. Pretty good so far. Not 100% accurate, but it's Copilot.
Yeah.
So again, it will learn just a generic one on Copilot. You have to use it to enable it to improve. Something I used to put on the Copilot front screen, obviously it's still preview for sales, is give me my deals that are about to close. Now, you talk about how Copilot always wanted to understand exact fields, names, and that kind of stuff. It used to go, sorry, I don't understand that yet. 2 demonstrations last week used it, give me my deals about to close, it understood it. So it's translated opportunities as what we know it as table names to deals and put them together and go, oh, I realise that you mean the same thing here, and it's answered my question. So it's one of those, even in the smart grid, you're going to have to keep using it to make sure it learns itself in the language model in your environment.
Yeah, because obviously everybody's going to search for, what they want to search for in different ways.
Yeah.
So it has to you have to use it so it can actually learn and pick up on those, different ways of searching for things, different keywords and things like that.
Yeah. I think smart grids it's a simple feature, but it's a nice feature in terms of how you search for data across the system moving forward. So, yeah. I think that's I think preview up until now, but it does go general availability from October. I think it does. Okay, another one.
Yeah, so I have a couple for customer insights.
thought you would have something on customer insights.
Yeah. A lot of what has come out in this release is all relating to events. So obviously in the previous podcast we would have mentioned the new Power Pages portals for events. Those are apparently going to be general availability in October. They are already there on the actual sort of, interface to go through. But the new functionality is really targeted around events, as there will now be Teams town halls, which allows up to 10,000 people to be in a Teams event. So this is obviously more enterprise targeted functionality, as obviously most people won't have 10,000 people joining their Teams meetings, but that functionality will be coming into customer insights.
Well, I suppose that's also a little bit more like right now, it's normal Teams meetings, isn't it? So you can see...
So town halls is a level above
the standard. In a normal Teams meeting, you can see everybody that's in there, can't you?
Yeah.
So if you were doing like a new business event, webinar or whichever, you can see a whole list of names that's joined that meeting, even though you don't know who they are.
Yeah.
Whereas a town hall is more of a traditional kind of webinar type platform where you log in and you have a presenter area and you have a attendee area. In the attendee area, from what I recall of town halls, you see the Q&A, you see some keynotes, but you don't see who else is in there. So it's been
definitely larger scale.
Yeah, so it's been a bit more also just been a bit more protective of, you don't really want people knowing who each other are at that point in time. It's not a benefit of the attendee, it's only a benefit of you as the organiser of the event. So
another really big one, I think, for the events is the payment integration.
I saw that in terms of paying, and also I read about, it said that you'll be able to put like discount codes in and stuff like that as well. So
tiers.
It's not just tiers. So it's not just do you want to buy here it's 70 quid for this course that you're going on. Yeah. It's if you buy so many, or I've got a discount code of September 25. It gives me £10 off.
Yeah, I think that'll be a significant improvement for the events, and it will encourage obviously the customer base to start using events that have, payment involved.
Yeah, even if it's just people that run like CPD courses or stuff like that they don't charge a lot of money, but they cover kind of expense costs, etc., and a bit of kind of, I've got a room, so I need to cover the cost of the room or whichever. Yeah. But aside from that, I did see that the payment piece. I didn't see it on the details though. I'm assuming it's still Stripe, but I need to check that out. Because
I think
Stripe is the default one that Microsoft talk about.
Yeah, it's payment providers, and as you say in the documentation, it's Stripe.
Yeah, okay. That's a massive step forward when it comes to events, customer insights, because the events portal of yesteryear was tosh.
Yeah, it's playing catch up to outbound marketing really, because outbound marketing did have some form of event payment integration, albeit it was custom, but that wasn't in real-time marketing, and obviously now it is filtering through as they've recognised that a lot of companies will use it.
So they've lined itself up, they've got to status quo a little bit from where they were, but they've also pushed it on. Yeah,
it should be a lot better.
Cool.
Hopefully.
Anything else customer insights wise?
There is also, again, this is more targeted at enterprise. There is a Journeys API. So if you're a global business, if you're hosting or creating journeys that apply to multiple different locations, let's say China, America, etc.
Yeah.
The Journeys API allows you to create journeys at scale in different languages and things like that.
Okay.
Obviously, again, it's enterprise really, so smaller businesses probably won't use that functionality, if I'm being honest. I think the most important ones for our customer base will be the payment integration.
But if you did have multiple sites, even just sales offices around the world, useful. And you want to do one ultimate campaign, but different languages, slight different structures, depends on the local market, you could try and use that functionality
Definitely,
as well. Okay. Because we do have our customer base, there is people that have got presence in different countries as well, even if it is just sales, commercial operations versus actually holding stock there or whichever. So, okay. I did see as well, officially, even though it's been there for a little while, officially it becomes general availability for describe your journey with Copilot.
Yeah, I didn't mention that one, as I've used it a few times. It's a
Go on, Zach, be honest.
It's a feature, but just like most Copilot, it's in progress.
You've got to use it and accept
It needs to be used a lot more for it to improve,
Yeah.
and I'm sure it will just get better over time. But yeah, it is a feature, but whether you can design a journey based on your language, up to interpretation of how simple it is.
I think simple journeys, I think absolutely I'd vouch for people using Copilot to start that experience, to use it.
Yeah, build a journey on this segment and send an email. You should be okay. Anything beyond that.
Do you know what I really think they should do though?
What's that?
Use Copilot to build the trigger.
Yeah.
Reason why is that it is still quite a technical process, really,
to give people a base,
to build a trigger. And if you had Copilot to give you 75-80% of that trigger, is going to help people take advantage of that functionality more.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, it would give people a base that obviously just need that understanding in Power Automate when they get there to build the logic. But yeah, it would be useful.
Okay. That's marketing then. Any more for marketing?
They're the ones that appeal to me the most, really.
Okay.
I think everything else, as you say, is like Copilot, natural language, and it's been there a while and it's in progress. It's not new.
Where else should we move on to now? What else have we got? CRM.
Customer service.
Yeah.
We have got more integration between cases and knowledge management. This is something that we're seeing because we're currently going through this project internally.
Yep.
And we've had people testing various bits. Some of our team got very used to Smart Assist and then got the message that Smart Assist is going and being replaced by Copilot. But again, more on the Copilot pain. And when you ask them to check it, it's like, well, what do you prefer, Smart Assist or Copilot? Well, we're used to Smart Assist, but Copilot's better. So it is moving towards a better integration. And, the responses were, there were 4 knowledge articles I was expecting it to return. Smart Assist returned 2, Copilot returned 4. So it's an improvement. Yeah. But again, I think it's this general just sort of rolling forward of everything.
It's also still important of how you categorise your case data and your knowledge-based articles though as well. Yeah. Now again, if Copilot brings forward, it's obviously using that language model to give a more rounded approach, whereas probably Smart Assist was probably just looking for key fields and keywords at that point in time and not thinking about the context around it from that perspective, I guess.
And we're trying to implement the automatic knowledge article creation. So that when a case is closed, you can put the tick in the box and it will start to write the article for you.
Yep.
We found a bug in it, which was reported to Microsoft, which is you can't untick that box by default. It will always be ticked, so you have to remember to untick it to not create it.
You will use Copilot.
Well, yeah, they're enforcing it. I've tried everything to get that off, and Microsoft have admitted that it's not what it should be. They're not calling it a bug. I can't remember what they call it, but they're not allowed to.
The design change is required.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah.
But yes, that again is also proving to be quite an interesting feature. That if you fill in the correct resolution, the correct description, it's actually providing that knowledge article for you.
And as part of Wave 2 as well, obviously how you've seen the knowledge-based agent work, up until now is that you resolve a case and then you see a pop-up and it asks you, do you want Copilot to help you create a knowledge-based article? So as part of Wave 2, they're also going to allow you to actually create knowledge-based articles using historic case data. So you can sort of retrospectively go back and create knowledge-based articles based on, resolved cases. And this uses obviously the information in the case and then any activities related to the case, such as emails, notes that have been added to the case. And then it comes up with a knowledge-based article. Obviously, I would definitely advise not to have these automatically published and to check the knowledge-based articles first, because that is also a setting. Apparently, you can have it automatically configured to automatically publish the articles as well, which I'd probably advise against at this moment in time, but can definitely give you a good head start.
Ellie's small print for the podcast. Do not have it auto-publish. But I think it's valid. I think looking back at historical, when you start to see, and I think that's probably useful when you start to see trends appear and go, I've had a few of these, what have you done to solve them? And you then create one knowledge-based article that uses similar cases to bring it together to give a more rounded approach of how you should resolve and look into that problem. I think we've said it before. I always think that knowledge base articles have been an underutilised feature by so many people, organisations, and we have been no different to that at Techman as well. Obviously, we started the journey a couple of years ago, but we're now kind of very much kind of foot on the pedal, right, giving it a good push now. But this kind of agent type approach is obviously only going to help the creation of those articles as well. Okay. Any more on customer service?
No, just that we've had to make a few changes ourselves with it, because obviously we work in tech, nothing stays still. So all our knowledge articles, we've had to put review processes in. So even after they have been published, they don't stay as published. We have reminders, we've got queues coming up. So that sort of integration of them into the whole working environment is something that we're quite keen to sort of push through. And hopefully in about 2 weeks, we'll be going live with it.
Cool. I think the bits for me, I put a couple of notes down on the case management agent as well, and Copilot email recommendations are officially GA from October, I think it is. Even though they've kind of been there, if you've enabled the preview, they have been there allowing you to give me my starter of how I respond to this case problem in a friendly, professional, etc. way. So again, I do find those useful. I do look at those and demonstrate those quite often, because I do think they give some good starters of how to respond to an ongoing case or a case that's just been raised. The other one for me is, even though it's under customer service, if you have to refresh your browser for any reason from GA, I think it is in October, or certainly not long after Wave 2 has been released, it will restore the session and the pages that you're on, opposed to resetting
I think that was a big
again.
flaw with the customer service workspace app.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can have multiple tabs open at the same time, but as soon as you refresh that browser, the tabs just disappear. So those are going to stay now on a browser refresh. So that's quite, again, relatively a simple little thing, but actually really useful for the user. And then the only other one, I talk about kind of contact center, which is your AI level on top of customer service and your agents, etc., that you can connect to multiple channels. They're going to now enable a feedback agent. So if you're on a chat, you can build in your agent to then take feedback whilst you get going through your communication with the customer. So on a website chat or a WhatsApp chat, for example, and then that can then be used as feedback, sentiment, and drive kind of how people are engaging with you as well. So that's quite a useful one, that is the agent's there, and then over time I think you're going to be able to adjust it slightly in terms of the feedback, but I haven't been able to play with that as yet, but that is coming as well. Anything sales-wise?
So for me, this is just a general, I guess it's sales customer service, is the reappearance of the hierarchy control. So this obviously disappeared.
That I had a good old whinge about a few months ago, that Microsoft decided to dish it on accounts.
Yeah, so this is reappearing basically, which is a positive.
But they're bringing it multi-table level though, aren't they? So opposed to it just being accounts and then the organisation hierarchy of people being different to one another, feels like they're bringing out we are bringing out a hierarchy tool that you can use it on accounts for parent and child. But we're also enabling that it can be across the system, and you can even do other tables, including custom tables, I think I read as well, that you can add it to.
I think in this release it's the reappearance of what we had. And I think, as you say, I think that's pitched for maybe a future release. Across other tables as well. Just
to have that simple, give me my view of my accounts, parent and child, or grandparent, parent, child, etc. So to Microsoft to deprecate it, then not give any notice of why and go find something else, to then a month later they put in their release notes, we're bringing that back. So I don't know whether they'll say it was their plan all along, or they had too many people moaning about it and then they had to bring it back in a slightly different structure. So, but yes, that is back. The other one for me is the sales qualification agent goes live in October. So we've talked a lot about kind of Copilot, which is kind of your assistant tool, and you can query surface data, get responses, help you do certain things, whereas an agent is going a step further on business process, and obviously that qualification agent is on a lead, is going to take data to the data lands and a lead record. It's going to look at your criteria that you set, and it will then determine whether it's right for you or not. It'll give you a suggestion. You can even let it go as far as it will qualify or disqualify for you.
Can also give you insights as well based on information that's online, so outside of CRM.
Yeah, I did see as well that you're also going to be able to, can't remember if it was directly straight away, but your sources. So the qualification agent itself looks at its own sources right now, but you're going to be able to put your own sources in. So if there's like an industry-based page or a particular type of website that you want to look at to see if they're on it, and that business or that person, you can also point them in that direction. So it scours or scans that as well, which was quite neat. Obviously the key thing with agent is, whilst the agent is there out of the box with dynamics in terms of what you buy when you buy enterprise, to consume the agent, you obviously need to buy Copilot messages packs. So that's just a worthy note, there's a bit of an extra bill on top of that as well. If you use it right, it'll pay for itself. That's the key thing. But yeah, you just got to be considerate of there's an additional cost that comes with it. Field service I'll cover, unless anyone's got anything on field service. But field service, you're now going to be able to integrate your bookings for works orders into Outlook and Teams. So engineers to be able to see their work order key information from Outlook and Teams as well. It's a Microsoft tool. You'd have expected to be there, but it's come in time, so that's now there. There's going to be an agent. So we talked about qualification. There's going to be an agent for field service that's going to help you schedule people, resources, but that's not going to be preview until next March, I think it is. So that's right at the end of Wave 2 release. And that's still, I believe, only going to be preview at that point in time. And then they are doing some further enhancements to the scheduling board in terms of just its use, its load, kind of performance and stuff like that as well, which again is just, I think, back-end improvement more than anything. I'm not sure how much the user's going to see is going to change the world. They're not changing the visualization of it. It's just more of a performance improvement, I think.
There are a few bits on mobile enhancements as well that I was interested in. Okay. So it's making it more usable if you're actually on the road.
Okay.
But again, no further details really that I could see.
Yeah, I was going to say they spent a lot of time on the mobile side previously, and they've done bits and pieces to enhance it. I think with field service, you've got the web browser URL experience. You've got a desktop app for field service, and then you've got the mobile app for field service. I think the challenges with the desktop and the mobile app, they are a little bit different to one another. I think they've probably got to get to a level that they've got to try and line them up as best as possible, because if you're using a large tablet, for example, you might end up then you can attach a keyboard to it. It's like, well, the desktop app might work, but then actually I'm going to use the mobile app instead because it offers something different. So I think they need to align those two together. But yeah, they're just subtle improvements, I think, is the field service summary that I got when going through the updates. Power Platform then. So who wants to start with Power Platform and anything specific Power Platform?
I think a big one is probably generative pages. So some of you might or might not be aware of custom pages in CRM.
Yep.
We typically use them off the back of command bar buttons on, different tables in CRM. Obviously, when you think of CRM, model-driven app, very structured.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of flexibility in terms of how you can sort of customize the interface. And I think these generative pages are going to revolutionize that quite a lot, I would say.
Your grids and your sections are your grids and your sections when it comes to CRM. But yeah, custom pages, I think ultimately a generative page is like a Canvas app. That's like custom pages used. They are Canvas apps that can have logic inside of them, but also provide a different visualization, a different look and feel to them. And generative pages is that next step of the custom page world, is kind of how I've taken it. So I think generative pages use cases, anything that you've probably used custom pages for so far. So click a button, it loads a screen. You select a few items on it, whether selecting something from a catalogue that gives you another option, or you're creating an account within Business Central with a particular customer type and template, and you want to do it all off one page and click go, and it does it. So those pages there kind of work for that. I think generative pages, what you're going to be able to use Copilot to create them as well, from what I can see. So I think from that side of the fence, you are, it'd be interesting to know how you can then create one and then you can deploy it inside of a particular record as well. But even just to summarize, maybe we saw at a conference earlier in the year that it was also using it to summarize data as well and embed like a chart inside of it as well. So it's not just, I think as you said, it's not just a little button that you pop out. It's you can visualize a whole page of data on your screen with a generative page, it seems like it's going to be.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say, yeah. It's basically generative visualization of data as well.
Yeah.
So saves you going to Power BI.
Yeah, I think it feels like, and again, I could come to learn different to this, feels like a mid-step. If you want to summarize and visualize some data, it's a mid-step between using native CRM dashboards and going your step all the way to Power BI as such. Like that is one use case for it. Okay, next, anything else?
There's a little feature within Power Apps, which is you can now toggle the offline sync to only work with Wi-Fi rather than mobile data.
Specifically for Canvas apps.
Specifically for Canvas apps, yes.
Yeah, that's more of I think, bit like you're used to when the most similar approach is like you're watching something on your phone from like, I don't know, Netflix or whatever it is. And it says, do you want to carry on watching this on your on your kind of mobile network versus do you want to download it to your device on your mobile network or wait for Wi-Fi? I think the principle's the same thing there.
Pretty much, yeah.
So you get to have more control over, well, where am I? Is it a lot of data? Do I want to do it right now? Is it going to take a long time, or shall I just wait? So again, that's just I would say that's just a feature that everybody used to on mobile apps. Just outside of business apps, it's what we're used to in our personal lives as well.
Yeah, exactly. One which is a big one in Power Pages is the merger of roles. So within Power Pages, obviously, typically you have to create a web role for a portal. Now there is going to be a merger between the web roles and data first roles.
Yes, I did read that not so long ago, that they're trying to link them.
Yeah, so it's basically just making it one management of roles, so you're not having to go, oh, let me, amend the web role for the portal. You can just sort of manage whatever roles you've got. Centrally, yeah, which is definitely a positive, I think. I
did also see a preview was coming in October that you got a security agent coming all around Power Pages, so you can build that role and permission by saying, well, this is what I want people to be able to access.
Yeah, it'll do a security scan of the Power Page as well.
Yeah, I don't think that's immediately October, but I definitely read that that's coming as well in terms of security scans. There is a level of scan performance that you can do on it right now, isn't there? But I think this is starting to go another step further on that. Yeah, I did see that with Power Pages. Anything else? Power Automate, Copilot Studio, anything in Power Apps?
I mean, just one thing more in Power Apps, the idea of vibe coding.
Vibe coding.
Horrible name, but there we go.
It's the latest thing. Citizen developer is dead. Vibe coding is the new.
It's essentially
where you've got to be.
Yeah, describe what you want and it will code it for you. I've yet to see what it's like. It's going to be interesting. it's.
I think a couple in the team, I know like Ben and that lot have had a go at doing some vibing, and they said it's okay.
I've done it as well.
I've done it for using JavaScript as well.
Have you?
Yeah, and it works pretty well.
Yeah. I think you've got to understand it's about what you're trying to achieve, what it gives out, and then realise that it might not be its 100% fit. Because I think the idea with Vibe Code is a case of my understanding is it's getting you started.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If you don't do it all day every day, but you also understand the principle of the technology, it's giving you a starting base to then go and evolve from at that point. So if the idea is if you have no idea what it does anyway, Vibe Code, you still have to have a level of technical understanding and appreciation to vibe as such.
What I like about it as well, this is how I've used it with Copilot and JavaScript, is that it does add comments as well in the script, so you can actually see what it's doing, rather than it giving you just a load of code and you have no idea, what any of that means. It actually tells you what it's doing in each specific area.
Yeah, it's just that idea that someone could come in and start doing code who knew nothing about code, and you may be very lucky and it'll work absolutely fine, great.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't, and you've got this block of code and you think, why isn't this working? You may start to get a bit lost. But if it pushes people in the right direction, it's no.
I think pushing in the right direction. I think if it's probably isolated and discrete, it's fine. If all of a sudden you're trying to make it work with lots of other different pieces to make it mold together, that's without sounding obvious, what you pay your expertise for is the reality. Something very specific in a very isolated way. Yes, you could do it with still the right skills though.
Yeah.
I think it would be very useful in Power Automate as well. Whenever you're writing expressions, of course you need to know what an expression is. But definitely very useful to query, an errant bracket or something like that, which typically breaks an expression in Power Automate.
I think the other thing that there wasn't loads in Power Automate in terms of new, but I did see that officially it's GA from Wave 2, is that you can now quantify your flows with time and money. So you can now put against every flow.
Yeah.
You can kind of state kind of the time that it would take if you didn't have that the automation, and what it would take you and the money that you would associate to it. And obviously then it will go and put a total saved and a total cost saved as well, time saved and cost saved against it. Again, I suppose if you're helping try and justify automation in a particular area, and why you would automate something, well, if you say, well, if I automate this little bit, look what it saves. If I automate this whole area, I'm going to save even more money. So I think in terms of for organisations, as a business justification for the tool, I said it works. Are you going to put that piece of data on every single flow? I would probably say a lot of SMB businesses aren't going to spend the time doing that as it stands right now. But I think for some areas that they've added automation in to do some heavy processes, it's a good way to showcase the technology.
Definitely.
And also internally within a business to say how it's improved as well. So not just us of what we've done for our customers, but businesses of what they've done inside of their operation as well. It would be nice they can use that as a communication of how the technology is helping them. So that was the one that came on Power Automate. However, it's not really in the feature. I didn't really read it in the notes. The other thing that I noticed, or if you've seen, alerts. So alerts in Power Platform. So you can go into alerts in an administration area. So it's separate to Power Automate kind of center. But you can go into alerts. You can select like what do you want to alert on a flow. So we've talked about this for a long time. What do you want to alert on a flow? Well, what the condition you want if it runs less than 80% of the time. And then who do you want the alert to go to? And all of a sudden you can then start to create alerts on business critical flows, for example. It's not everything in the Power Platform for alerts, but that, for me, we've talked about that for so long, going, how do you put error trapping and notifications on your flows? Because otherwise your flow that's like yay big, well, at what point do you put your error trap? Is it here? Is it here? Is it here? Is it here? Is it all of them? And all of a sudden your flow becomes yay big instead. and then that takes ages to run, it's not very efficient, etc. So they're just going, well, that's not great, so what do? Do you then have a separate flow that's just your management flow that just checks what's running? Well, what does that do and how does that work, and when should it tell you when it doesn't run? Is it every single time it fails, or is it for some other reason? So I think the alerts function is a good management tool. My other one is Copilot Studio, which of course is the way to create agents and modify agents that for generating responses, for using the agent. From November, you'll be able to create your own language models to make them a bit more specific, opposed to just taking an out-of-the-box language model, which, of course, is all the logic of how data is mined and processed to give you a response. So it depends on what you're using and what the scenario is the best way of describing it. But ChatGPT-5, I think it is, has just come out. So, and they've called that more university level knowledge, not college level, whatever it is that they discuss it. So yeah, it's only going to get better of what we're getting out of the box with kind of AI language models. Any more generic ones or anything else that we're looking forward to utilising or seeing or using?
I think just because you said ChatGPT again, there's going to be security people that are terrified of this. But apparently there is the ability to connect other AI agents to your CRM, such as a ChatGPT. Again, we probably would advise everyone to stick with Copilot, but that is a feature that they have put in the release waves. As I say, security professionals may have an alternative view of that feature. And
if it's an open source AI tool, what is it looking at?
Yeah, it queries your CRM, but obviously how open that is to
and what
the entire world
back. Yeah.
Is a security question in and of itself, but it is a new feature.
Cool. Any more?
There was one I saw on Power Automate about improvements of human in the loop. So the last time I did anything like this,
human in the loop.
Yeah, so it's perhaps taking away some of the automated decision making and actually pushing it over to a human. The only time I've ever implemented this in a project, we had to use Teams.
Yeah.
And again, it was quite clunky to implement it. It was a wait, and then it was a lot of apply to eaches, and you had to say whether it was, if you're sending it to a group of people to approve, it was you need everybody to approve, or you just need the first one to approve. And that's really the only way I've seen of doing this.
Yeah.
There may be other ways, but it'll be interesting to see that Microsoft are actually doing something with Power Automate about what they're actually going to try and do with it.
Okay.
So it may just be maybe nothing, maybe interesting.
So I think, unless there's anything else, it's a collection of small enhancements for Wave 2. There are some small enhancements, but some really neat ones, I think, coming in certain areas. We started with the smart grid, for example. I think, from my perspective, Copilot and AI and agents still top of the agenda, and still improving, still adding more value, and again, creating your own agents is only a matter of time, more within inside of the CRM world as well. And then Power Platform, generically, it's usability improvements, assistance of build that makes a difference, easier and quicker route to market to get your kind of solutions out there.
It's getting closer to being low code, no code, I would say.
Yeah, I think the reality is the only caveat I'd add to that is that what it does in the background is still very complex.
Yeah.
So I think if it breaks or there's a problem, if you're low code and you don't have that level of knowledge or expertise to then try and figure it out and pick it all back together, probably can be quite difficult at times as well. But the front end Copilot across the creation of functionality is clearly absolutely helping. And hopefully will make projects and implementations but just use of customer adoption, just improve it another level than what we've seen already. Okay. On that note, that's the end. Yeah? Cool? You're all nodding?
Sounds good.
Right, that's the end of Wave 2 2025, our highlights for CRM and Power Platform. So thank you to Ellie, John, Zach, and I've been Jason. Until next time, that was Tech Man Talks Dynamics.